Many of you know Alucard is one of my favourite characters from Castlevania. And obviously this is a slightly different version of him in this universe of the Dracula pantomime. But I had to go and audition for it. I was so excited. So I got sent the script, learnt the lines, went on the day. I was a little bit nervous, especially because I had to sing on stage in front of people, and I actually have never done that before. And I went back home and I thought, you know what, even if I don't get it, it's fine. Literally, I had an email the next day saying I got the part. And now we are here in 2024, after one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And I'm going to tell you all about it. After securing the role, which was a huge surprise to me, our rehearsals started in October 2023. So I had quite a few months to get to grips with the script and understand a little bit more about my character and what I was going to do with it. I wasn't going to play Alucard like the Castlevania version of Alucard. It was very much a camped up panto version. So I basically learned the script off by heart during those few months leading up to October, and I was a little bit embarrassed to find that I was the only one that had done that. No one else in the cast had memorized the script. I felt a little bit like a director's pet at that point, but it's just the way my brain works. I want to be extra prepared for these things. The first show was on the 29th of November, so we didn't have a long time in physical rehearsal time. So in my mind, I wanted to be fully prepared before entering into the theatre with other actors and blocking out things on stage. I just wanted to know all my lines. And that did work. I will definitely do that in future. This is all new to me. I've never done stage before, so I'm learning as I go. We were going to be doing 12 performances over the space of 2 weeks, with 1 day off in between on the Monday. And obviously, some people thought I was a bit crazy, considering I've never done stage before, and this is a bit of a baptism of fire. I mean, my first ever experience of singing and performing on stage was the audition for this show. That's how fresh I was into this, and I was expecting to just do 12 shows like it was nothing. Totally fine. Those 12 shows also consisted of 2 weekends where we would be doing a matinee performance and an evening performance. So there were some days where we were doing 2 shows in a day, which may not sound like a lot to the seasoned theatre professionals out there, but for someone as fresh in the scene as me, yeah, it was a lot. Anyway, speaking of being a director's pet, the director and writer of this play was Brandon Sharp. He's such a nice guy. I instantly got on with him so well, and honestly, this script, I've never read a funnier one. I was still laughing at the jokes, even though I'd heard them a million times, and I think that's when you know it's good. All the cast and crew were incredible, and I just felt like I got on with everyone. It was really easy walking into this world. I was really surprised there was absolutely no drama at all. It was very chill and very professional. But after a little bit of blocking rehearsals, we then moved on to music and dance, which was great. My main song in this show, because it's musical after all, was Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf. And I knew this before I went for the audition, and I will admit I was a little bit daunted because, you know, Meatloaf has an incredible voice, and I am not classically trained. I like to sing, but I wouldn't say I have a classically trained or professionally trained voice. I do actually have a clip of our first ever Bat Out of Hell performance, so you be the judge. About to rehearse Bat Out of Hell for the first time. I will try and record some. We'll just see how it goes. I'm here early, so no one's here. The sirens are screaming and the fires are howling way down in the valley tonight. There's a man in the shadows with a stick in his hand and a blaze shining oh so bright. There's evil in the air and there's thunder in the sky and it killers on the bloodshot streets. And down in the tunnel where the deadly are rising, oh I swear I saw a young boy down in the garden. He was starting to foam in the heat. Like a bat out of hell, I'll be gone when the morning comes. When the night night is over like a bat out of hell. I'll be gone, gone, gone. Like a bat out of hell, I'll be gone when the morning comes. But when the day is done and the sun goes down and the moonlight's shining through, then like a sinner before the gates of heaven, I'll come crawling on back to you. They did have to key up the song so that my range would work for it, because I don't have Meatloaf's range. I think very few people have Meatloaf's range. I would love to improve my range, but obviously, like I said, I've never had a professional singing lesson. I've never had a singing lesson. I'd love to have a singing lesson. I feel like maybe I could unlock part of my voice I would really like to express. I might do that in future. Who knows? But yeah, they had to key up the song so that I could sing it properly. So that's why it might sound a little bit different to you. We also had to do the time warp, which was so exciting because I love Rocky Horror and I've always wanted to perform the time warp, especially on stage. Like, what a dream. It's like the queer national anthem. Madness takes its toll, but listen closely, not very much longer. We then blocked out Bat Out of Hell just to kind of get a little bit of choreography going and where we're going to go on stage, with all the ensemble watching in the audience, which was really, really sweet. I loved the ensemble. They were lovely. Occasionally a bit chaotic though, which I'll get to at the end of this video. And one thing I was starting to realize the more that I was performing on stage in front of people, even though it wasn't a full audience in the auditorium, I wasn't nervous. I wasn't experiencing any kind of stage fright. In fact, I think I felt more confident on stage than I did off stage. I don't know what that means, but I absolutely loved it. Any opportunity I got to go on stage during the rehearsals, I was buzzing and I could not wait to be in front of an audience. That is not something I expected. I expected to be really, really scared and really, really nervous. And that just shows you can like not believe in yourself so much, you can convince yourself you can't do something, when actually you might be able to do it. And you might really love it. Piece of advice, just do it. And I realize I haven't really gone into the story of the play, and I kind of don't want to spoil it for you in case you get to experience it, but I can summarize it for you. Long story short, it is a story of how Alucard is a bit disenchanted with being a vampire and being evil and that kind of thing. He doesn't want to do that. And he ends up falling in love with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There's a lot of our favourite characters from Gothic media in this panto. It mentions Frankenstein, Jekyll and Hyde, Penny Dreadful is the Dame. We have, of course, Dracula, who is my dad, who's played by Matthew Tatum, who was amazing. Love you, Matthew. Had the best time with Matthew. Thank you, Father. It was amazing to have all these characters that I loved so much combined into one story. So yeah, that's basically it. Alucard is disenchanted. He knows that it's his birthday and a big ceremony is going to happen. And he doesn't want it to happen because he doesn't want to be evil. And Dracula wants him to be evil. And then Alucard falls in love with Buffy. Yeah, that's basically the story. But there's a lot of comedy in between and a lot of other plot points. So yeah, I really hope you get to experience it someday. So we then had rehearsal after rehearsal, making sure each scene was nice and slick. And then it came around to my birthday time of the year, and it just so happened when I arrived at rehearsal, I had my cast hoodie laid out on my favourite chair in the auditorium with a big birthday badge on it. And as soon as I turned that hoodie around and saw the birthday badge, everyone in the room sang happy birthday to me. And that was really nice. I got kind of emotional. I nearly had a little cry. It was so special to feel like that found family feeling you get when you are involved in a crew. And I hadn't experienced that in so long. So that was really nice. It also happened to be one of the ensemble's birthdays as well. So we ended up having a kind of combination little party at the end where they had cake and we did Disney songs, karaoke. It was great. I just felt very loved and honestly, like so boosted by this experience. But then time ticked on and it was time for our tech and dress rehearsals, where we had to sort out the timing for the lighting, how everything was going to go with the set changes, how the costume changes were going to go, all that stuff. So that was chaotic, but fun, because we had a different crew every night. So it wasn't just one crew learning how to do the lighting and the sound, it was multiple. It was kind of crazy, but it went fine. A few technical difficulties, but it went okay. But my involvement in the show wasn't just prancing about on stage. I also did a little bit of set painting, which I wish I'd done more of because it was so chill. We had music on in the background and I just helped finish off a few little details on one of the backdrops. And I thought, this is really nice. I like this. This is something I could definitely do more often. And even Teddy came down and helped with one of the backdrops for the finale, which is when we did the time warp and all of our bows and things like that. So he even helped do like the roses and stuff like that. It was really nice for Teddy to get involved. I also ended up making the posters for all the characters in the panto, which was really fun. So on the dress rehearsal day, we got loads of photos, which I then took back home and edited them on Photoshop.
Gothic romantic, you've got a rose, and I'm going to put you in the Warlord's castle. Cool. So kind of like to the side, so looking at the camera, almost like you're smelling the rose. No. I mean, you weren't where you're not looking at the camera, but I imagine that looking at the camera.
Brandon, is it evil at this point, or is he in between?
No, he's good. He's basically the Twilight Little Boy in this whole But because on Act 2, for joining a family business, what I'd like is, when we're there, I'll like say this line, but what I want is on, because that's where he hypnotizes Alucard. So I want.
But then it was time for the performance, and I was kind of nervous, I will admit, but like mostly excited, but you know, that's natural. We had a monitor hooked up in the dressing room as well as in the stairwell so we could make sure we didn't miss our cues. It was almost like having like a little private screening every night, just watching your friends on TV, but then obviously you never saw your scenes because that's when you were on stage. It was kind of surreal, but great. Again, I'd never done stage before, so I didn't know about all this stuff. It was great. I was like, oh, there's a little monitor with, look at them run around. Look at them being chased by a ghost to the Scooby-Doo theme. Yeah, it was great. That was my favorite scene, by the way. Scooby-Doo chase. So much fun.
Don't you think that the cut of that shirt is very tempting? It's just like,
is it? I'll capture that on camera. apparently this shirt is very tempting. I literally said the sluttiest thing a man can do is unbutton a few more buttons on his shirt.
Yes.
I think that's the truth.
Extra deep V.
An extra deep V. My prepping backstage was basically putting my front pieces of hair in a roller, making sure my makeup was perfect, and yeah, I had 3 costume changes, I think. They weren't full costume changes though, because really I was just putting on a different cloak for each scene. So it wasn't really. But then obviously for the ending, I had an entirely different outfit, which, you know, was kind of fabulous and glitzy and nice. I felt very fancy. And the first performance went relatively well. There was a little bit of chaos because there was a kid in the audience who wasn't very happy to be there and did have to leave after the first act. And that was a little bit distracting for the actors because they kept forgetting their lines because it was the first performance and this child was really, really loud and disruptive, and I think it was putting us off a little bit. It definitely put me off a little bit, and for my first performance it was very daunting to walk out on stage thinking, this child is screaming and I have to concentrate. But I felt more sorry for the kid and the family. So yeah, that was a very interesting start, but it was kind of good in a way to get that out of the way because that's probably the worst it would get, is just having a really noisy audience and where you couldn't concentrate. The rest of the performances went so smoothly, I can't really remember any distinct differences between them, apart from when the Scouts and the Cubs were in. That was interesting. They were possibly the noisiest audience we had throughout the whole set of performances. The Scout leader, after Act 1, did have a chat with them and ended up sitting in the middle of them to stop them being so disruptive, but it was quite intense. Although, in a strange way, I had never felt cooler, because when I come out and open the first scene as Alucard, he berates and insults the brides of Dracula because he doesn't like them. He doesn't get on with them. None of them are his mum anyway, so he's just like, ugh, screw you guys. So he insults them one after the other, like quick-fire insults. So after every insult I was projecting towards the brides, all the Scouts and the Cubs were going, ooh, burn, oh snap, oh, bleh. And the small boy who got bullied at school in me was like, oh my God, I'm cool. These kids think I'm cool, even though I've been on this planet for a third of a century. I was still like, you like me, you really like me. So yeah, that was quite funny. But yeah, for the other actors, it was kind of distracting because it wasn't as flattering for them. It was like kind of heckles and just like, blah, 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 you know, when Dracula came on, because he's like the main villain. But for me, because I was the kind of relatable, cool guy character, they were all like, yeah, you tell them, Alucard. But they did eventually quieten down in Act 2 because it was a little bit intense. But honestly, as soon as the shows had started, I felt like they had ended. It went by so fast. 2 weeks were gone like that. I actually can't believe it's the last night. I'm gonna get upset later. But at least we've got after party.
Yeah.
Because I think that's gonna be a nice distraction to get a little bit drunk and you know, bond with everyone.
Yeah.
Because we're not just leaving straight away. I think that would be so much worse.
Oh God. Yeah. Absolutely.
That would be depression time.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. And I don't want that. Dan and Jay came down to see me, as well as a few other friends for other performances to support me on the night, and that was really special. But then, on the last night, my mum managed to travel all the way down from Scotland. Now, my mum never goes anywhere. She's a full-time carer and she can't get away often. But she travelled all the way down from Scotland to see me on the final night and stayed for a little bit either side of the show. It was so great, and I will admit, I'm such a mummy's boy. So seeing her in the audience when I was singing Bat Out of Hell, which was one of her favourite songs in her youth, I saw her in the audience, I belted out the song, and I was literally like, don't cry. Don't cry, Victor. Because it was just such an emotional moment for me, because I never thought that my mum would be able to come down to see me. Like, she's never been able to visit me here at all since I'd moved out. This was the first time she'd come to see me in 3 years. So it was a huge deal for me, and I was really emotional and overwhelmed. It couldn't have ended on a better note. I just felt so loved and happy, and yeah, it was wonderful. What are your feelings? Yeah, that sums it up. Cam, what are your feelings about the last show?
Which show?
This one right now. This last show right now.
Great.
It's gonna go great?
Yeah.
Good. It is. Ellen. I'm also very sad. I don't have my fangs in right now.
This is the 12th show, and not one of them did he ever say the joke right.
Which joke?
The falafel joke.
He was never gonna get
Really?
Yeah,
Did he never say it right?
He just
I still feel falafel. Still feel falafel instead of still falafel.
He's doing that on falafel. Falafel.
Are you getting me stripping off there?
No, I'm filming myself. Although, there was one major costume mishap I had before stepping out on stage for that final performance of Bat Out of Hell. But it proves to you the professionalism and amazing quick thinking of the stage crew. I'm talking about you, Will. Will, my absolute hero. So I had a few cloak changes, like I said, and this gold velvet cape was the one I had to wear out when I was singing Bat Out of Hell. And I was coming up the stairs and I was messing about a little bit before walking on. I forget what we were doing. It was me and Tash just messing about, being like, ugh. My cloak fastening broke. It just pinged all the way off. We didn't even know where the button had gone. It had just gone. And then like Will just, I don't know, it was like a flash. He just got pliers out. He was like biting things with his teeth. And it was the most crazy 10 seconds of costume fixing. He managed to like bend the wire around one of the pearls just to attach it enough for that one scene. And that is why he is going to be the most amazing stage manager. He was so good. The lad's only 17. Like, he's going to go far. The quick thinking was like bang on. I just stood there like, whoa! And I walked out and managed to perform with the cape still attached. So thanks for that, Will. I think the last day was the best we had ever performed as a group. It went so well. It was the best I'd sung the song. It was the best. It was just the best overall. We were all absolutely on form, and the audience was too. Mostly, I think, because they'd had quite a few glasses of wine. They were quite drunk, but it was good for Panto because it means more interaction with the audience and more laughter as well. So that was great. It was such an amazing ending to this experience. It really finished on a bang. I mean, every single one of our shows was sold out. There were people waiting to get tickets. That's how popular it was. And we did 12 shows. Clearly, people liked it. Don't get me wrong, there were a few nights where there might be some technical issues or timing wasn't quite there. But overall, we all worked together like a well-oiled machine and we all got on really well and there was no drama and it was really great. I had a really good time. After the last performance, there was an after party, which was nice because I'm glad I didn't just have to walk home and be depressed that it was all over. There was even a little speech that Ryan, one of the crew members, had prepared about all the cast and the crew and everything. It was almost like, you know, at a wedding where everyone gets mentioned in a speech. And I was mentioned, which I wasn't expecting because I'm just constantly like baffled that people remember who I am and that I exist. So that was really nice. You can have a laugh at this. Ryan will probably kill me for recording it, but I couldn't help myself.
Dracula's son. Stage performances, I'm told this is his very first one. So after the stormy in Panto, you'll never guess what then. He signed $1 million contract to model for Panto.
Yeah, Pantene, whenever you're ready, just reach out. I'm still waiting for that email. Thanks. But the main highlight of the after party was the chaos of the ensemble. You guys are crazy, but I really hope you're not watching my channel. You're too young, okay? We had quite a large ensemble. We had 2 different ones for each night so that they weren't overworked. There are laws against making children do too many shows. Anyone with a brain probably thinks, yeah, it's probably a bad idea to get kids to do 12 shows one after the other and not give them a break. So we had 2 sets of ensemble. So when I walked down, I was greeted by this very strange avant-garde piece of artwork on the walls, which luckily I had someone record me react to. Victor, apparently.
There is not a
Sub to Victor, subscribe.
podcast.
That looks like someone
Come back.
died.
What, is it Tucker up there?
I think, I don't know what, wait, that says my name. I thought that those were gravestones.
Oh, okay.
Are they play buttons?
Yeah, I think they are.
Okay. Subscribe, or he drinks 25 vials. I think
Amazing.
that's quite good advice, really. Read now and do. Subscribe to now. Victor Lockhart. All kids are subscribed. All ensemble, apparently. Yep. Subscribe.
Yes.
And, or Dracula Matt will kill you.
Yes, I will kill you.
Okay?
This is true. I will kill
Right?
you.
So that's the first threat. Subscribe to Victor Lockhart. Almost at 40k. These are quite nice. I appreciate that. I'm being swept under.
No! No!
No!
It says polite notice above it.
Okay, alright, yeah.
Polite notice, no!
Victor, we will... What does that say?
P.S. We eat
You.
to go.
It says you.
We eat you in your sleep.
Oh, that's to go with this lovely one about.
Well,
the vet.
don't say it yet, because that's the last one I'm going to read, because it's the best. Subscribe, new Victor to now. Something, subscribe.
Slay!
Slay your enemies. Subscribe, or... Wow, the squeaking. Or Dracula will eat you very, very slowly. Just sub, now subscribe to Victor Lockhart. Subscribe to Victor Lockhart, subscribe, Victor. Right, this is the worst. Okay? Subscribe to Victor, please, or he dies. Or he dies! He's supposed to die. No, it's a cute little cat. Subscribe. Dracula likes killing people who aren't subscribed to Victor Lockhart. Okay?
We love this.
Right. We eat people, go down, because that one's the best one. We eat people who do not subscribe to Victor Lockhart, almost 40k. Watch butt.
Watch out!
Watch butt.
Watch
Watch out.
I have amazing handwriting.
Sub to him now, or else I will hunt you down. I have my ways, Scarlet. The grand finale. Sub, or I got no crossed out. knife to kill in my sleep.
Thank you, Poppy.
And with that,
We do have-
good night. They shamelessly plugged my YouTube channel. They had looked up my name and found my YouTube and gone down a rabbit hole, which was slightly worrying to me because my channel is not for children. There isn't anything particularly offensive on this channel, but I just don't make content for children. So yeah, if you're under 16 and you're watching my channel, please let your parents know. I love you guys, and the ensemble, you are so lovely, but my channel is not for children. But you've done a lot of advertising for me, so I have to be grateful. So yeah, obviously I've shown you little clips of the performance, but obviously I can't show you the full thing for obvious reasons. I'm sure I don't have to explain that. But you may get the chance to see it sometime because it was very successful. We sold out every show, there was a wait list for tickets, and there may be talk of bringing it back. So who knows? Perhaps I will be portraying a flouncy, blonde-haired vampire in a cloak in a town near you sometime. This experience gave me such a boost, generally, for my confidence, but also for my acting ability, my singing ability, my social ability, because I'm kind of a reclusive person, really, day to day, and I don't believe in myself very much in terms of what I can achieve with a crew or, you know, just in general, outside of my own comfort zone of making my own content on my own. However, I now believe a little bit more in myself that I could do this again. And in fact, there are quite a few projects I am involved in currently. There are some I can't mention at the moment because they're not set in stone. But there is one that I will be performing in next week. So it's probably already happened by the time this video's got out. I'm involved in a murder mystery at the circus. Little one-night-only play at the same theatre that Dracula was performed in. So if you want to know more about that, I'll probably talk about it eventually, but also if you want to know more about it right now, you can join my Ko-fi, support me monthly, and you will be added to my private Instagram where I talk about all the things I'm up to at all times. There's a lot of posts on there. There's also stuff I've never posted publicly before on there. So if you want to do a deep dive and absolutely stalk the hell out of me, you can do that by becoming a monthly Ko-fi supporter, just so you know. Have I tempted you? My future is looking very theatrical, and I am not mad about it. Even though I had told myself I'd given up on my acting career, that might not be so true. It's funny how when you say these things like, oh, I'm never going to do any more acting, that sometimes things just come your way and you don't have any choice. That's happened to me in life a lot. It's when you don't want something that you get it. But I'm not complaining, and I've had a wonderful time playing Lockhart in Dracula the Pantomime. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to support me on Ko-fi if you want to see all my secrets. And I will see you very soon. As you can see, everyone had a marvelous time destroying my poster after the last show. It doesn't look anything like me. I don't know where they get their ideas from. These kids.